Hi, this is Ken Adams, and welcome to this special edition of the Valley View, where we're interviewing various city council candidates. And today, Sue Laura is with me, who's a candidate for the Ward 6
Yes.
district.
Yes.
Glad I was getting confused. I've had a few of these interviews.
Yes.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ken.
And one of the things that I've been asking all the candidates is their position on the third bridge to West Salem. So, and I know you've had some comments in the paper, but why don't you go ahead and explain how you feel about the third bridge and why?
Well, Ken, after 6 years of the SRC studies on the third bridge, and they couldn't justify the city spending $400 million on the third bridge. I think that pretty much said that, you know, the third bridge just doesn't improve the congestion in downtown. And I think we have to find a different way to solve the congestion. I think third bridge it's a wrong way to go.
For a whole lot of money.
For a whole lot of money. I think if we have $400 million, we can do a whole lot with the city. What I like to do as a way to bring the congestion in downtown down is to explore the idea of a cart train that will go from Mission Street to Market Street, and from 12 to Edgewater. That way, and with the Minto Brown Bridge that's coming up here
Right.
very shortly, you know, the train car will bring a lot of tourism and also ease a lot of congestion because a lot of people can use it to get around downtown.
And this would be kind of almost like a trolley system, then,
Yes,
is what you're
yes,
talking about. Oh,
definitely.
okay, yeah. And because, like, one of the issues that kind of we were going to talk about is pedestrian safety downtown, because there's, you know, a lot of cars, there's bikes and skateboarders and pedestrians, and with so many cars downtown, that can create some problems sometimes. And so that would be, I think a trolley system sounds good to me. And so that is kind of how you feel about the third bridge, is that it hasn't proven itself financially, and there's other things that we can do to relieve congestion downtown.
Well,
And in West Salem.
Yeah, as far as the study goes, and what the city found out is there's no federal income, there's no federal money, there's no state money, so it's pretty much up to the city to build this third bridge, and you know, I'm just seeing it from looking at it from a different perspective, and I think this train car will be a solution for downtown. And with this train car, I think we can get federal and state funding for this project.
Okay. Well, not only that, but like really the big congestion on the bridge itself is usually at 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. And if they even had shuttle buses running at those times, because there's a lot of workers that work in the city, the county, and the state offices here in Salem, and if there was an easy way for them to get across without driving their car, that would be much more beneficial than having more cars on the bridge.
That is correct.
Yeah. So the other big infrastructure question that I see quite often raised is the police station and the retrofit for City Hall, because City Hall is going to need to be retrofitted because it is not earthquake proof.
True.
So, and you had some comments, I believe, on where you thought the police station, a new police station, should be located. So why don't you describe that?
Yes. I like to see the city explore some of their sites very, very subjectively. I think the city really, they look into different sites, but they haven't really kind of subjectively, you know, exploring the opportunities. I think that the North Salem campus is a great opportunity for them to move the whole Civic Center to North Salem campus, because it's pretty big. It's 44 acres, so you can you know, we can put the whole the police station there. We can build the civics. We can build the municipal court there. We can put the the city council there as well. So it will fit all that. I think it's a great opportunity. The only drawback is this: do we want to take that property off tax bracket,
Off the tax rolls.
off the tax roll, and does the city want to invest money to buy that property when they actually already own the property in downtown? And I think that's what the city's main concern is, that we have this property downtown that it's already paid for, city owned. Why don't we just build on it? Well, it's so congested. We have 6 lanes of streets on both sides of either side of the building, and as to just add on that, I think it's just adding more congestion. And on top of that, you're building a police station on top of the parking for police vehicles underneath, and that would just spell disasters when you have an earthquake here in the city, and your first responder cannot get out to help.
Correct. But okay, so not only that, but I guess the North Campus area then would be more centrally located to all parts of the city as opposed to where it is currently. And that would be another, I mean, because you're kind of isolated on the west side of the city, basically.
Uh-huh. Yes. Well, the North Campus is just about a couple minutes to downtown. I mean, so the response time would be pretty much equivalent to what it is in downtown right now.
But it would be faster maybe out to the northeast section, or...
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. The response time would be so much quicker to the northeast side of town. Considering that we have more crime in the northeast part of the town than we do in the West Salem. So I think that would be a very wise choice to consider.
Oh, okay. One of the things, too, speaking of downtown, is the downtown parking situation. And
Right.
the way I see it is that they were talking about putting parking meters in, and businesses downtown got very upset about that, went out and got an initiative going to maintain free parking downtown. And the city council kind of panicked and just took the initiative as it was written without thinking about some of the ramifications. And it's actually made the situation, the parking downtown, even worse, because there's no enforcement against employees parking all day,
Right.
or residents parking all day. And I go by a lot of times around 8:30 in the morning, and there's almost no parking at that time. Whereas there used to be, you know, if I wanted to drop by Book Bin on my way to the dog park or something, I could pick something up there, you know, or some of the other places, and there was no problem getting a parking place close. Now you can't.
That's very true, Ken. I think the downtown issues, the business in downtown has already paid taxes for the parking spaces for the customers. So what the city needs to do is figure out how to tackle this issue so that you know we have more parking spaces downtown for the customers, and we have more parking for visitors who come in and out. Again, I like to explore the idea of having a train car that will, like I said, will run from Mission to Market, and then from 12 to Edgewater. That would elevate a lot of the parking congestions that we have. We only have so much structure in downtown for parking spaces, and that even with a free parking space, it doesn't help the congestion. You know, like you said earlier, you have people that park, the residents that park there all day. We have customers that park there all day. You have employees that park there all day. So the train car would definitely solve the issue.
Well, this kind of brings up public transportation as well.
Yes.
And I believe at the Salem City Club you were talking about the fact that there was no bus service on the weekend. And to me that is kind of a critical issue for not just traffic, but for people trying to get to and from work. And not have bus service on the weekend really kind of limits those without means of affording a car basically they got to walk or bike or, try to, or sometimes they probably lost jobs as a result.
That's very true, Ken. I've known four people personally that lost their job because they couldn't get to their work site on the weekend, and it really kind of upsets me that that the city doesn't want to invest much into the this transit district. I think we can do more to invest in weekends and evening bus services. It's critical because we have people with disabilities that can't go
Right.
to and from where their destinations are. Right now, we have the Social Security, which is in South Salem, and bus doesn't run down there. So these people can't even get to Social Security service to talk to the people that they need to see. And it is essential that as a city we need to look at this very seriously. Not only that, but we need to look at attracting our young people that are living in Salem to stay in Salem, and also serve the senior citizens that are living in Salem as well.
I'm kind of glad you brought up the Social Security office, because when that office first opened, you're right, it was kind of a distance, probably about a quarter to a half mile from the nearest bus stop. There were no sidewalks, there were ditches, and it was an incredible situation for people trying to get to that office. And I'm real familiar with that area because before I retired, I worked out near there, but I worked off shifts. And it was like you could not take a bus to work, or you couldn't catch one after work because of the shift that I worked.
Right.
And a few times that I biked out to work, it was scary because there was very little lighting. There was no sidewalk or other area other than the street.
Right.
And now it's not very well lit, and you've got cars, and there were bars in the area and like that. So it was very spooky trying to bike to work when I got down close to where I was working. And that is, to me, a big issue that, the city isn't looking out for having a public transportation system that's viable for people that need it.
Yes, I agree. We do need to really look at our public transportation and really look at this train car that I suggest, and I'm willing to explore this and willing to invest time into researching this project.
Okay. One of the other things, too, that I believe you talked a little bit about at Salem City Club was the minority communities here in Salem.
Yes.
And, I have to admit that I'm not real familiar with what goes on in those communities, but maybe you could enlighten us about maybe what some of the problems are for the minorities here in town.
Okay. Well, right now we have almost 25% Hispanic, 3% Asians, and probably about 3% of Micronesians. These are growing populations in our community, and I've talked to the Latino community, and what they really want to see is the city really kind of engage them in city activities. A lot of the minority community here in Salem felt as if they were not as engaged and as involved in city government in making decisions in opening the programs that would help detour kids from after school activities, getting involved in with groups and people that they shouldn't be involved with. So I've seen, and there's some concerns of profiling, but that's, I mean.
You mean by the police?
Yeah, and I mean that's typical concern. I mean, from a minority standpoint, if you get pulled by police, you think that they might be profiling, but that's not always the case. So the main thing I want to engage, to have the city do in the future is engage with citizens of diversity and kind of bring them to the table, ask them for ideas and input on how we can strengthen the community, and how we can bring activities and bring programs to this minority group that would detour them from engaging in other activities.
So it might not be so healthy for the community.
Yes, definitely.
So maybe you could kind of describe your ward. What part of, it's the Northeast, right? And
Right.
so what are like the boundaries of that district?
Well, the boundary from in Ward 6 is from Center Street, from Corden Road, kind of zigzagging to Corden Road, and then it goes to Hawthorne, and then there's a little patchy from Center Street to 23rd, and then goes over to Market Street, and then it goes over to the McKay Park area, and then just zigzag to the back to Corden Road.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of zigzagging. There's a lot of people that live across the street from me that are in a county area. There's a neighbor that I talked to the other day, just a couple houses from my house, from the back of my house, that is in a county district. So I think we really need to look at this seriously. I think from their concerns is that they don't want to pay the higher taxes that the city is imposing upon their residents, but at the same time they do want to be part of the city. I think there's a room for negotiation. There's room that we can bring these people into the city and make them feel that the city can serve them better.
So is that like the big issue in your ward? Are there other issues in your ward that need to be addressed?
There's my ward. There's a lot of there's a variety of incomes. I think the income issues is very prominent because there's a lot of apartments in that area, and where there's a lot of apartments, a lot of people that are in a lower income bracket, and that to have a tendency to bring in more crimes, kids that get involved in graffitiing things, and not only that, but it costs the city money to replace, repair, and paint over graffitis or destroyed street lights and stuff like that.
We have the same problem in my area too, so don't feel like it happens just in your area. And I'm actually closer to Willamette University, and I'm always surprised at some of the destruction that goes on after the kids have been out partying all night. So it's not necessarily an income type of issue. Sometimes it's just kids just being kids, I think.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other issues that really kind of drive you to want to run for city council?
Being a resident of Salem for over 26 years, I'm very thankful for what this city gave me and my family. We came to this city with pretty much nothing, just the clothes on our back and a coat that we got in San Francisco, because we arrived here in November and it was cold. I mean, we've been living in Thailand, and it's really warm. So I'm very thankful, and I've seen the city grow over the years, and I've seen that there's a lot of potentials, but there's also some things that the city really overlooked, like providing bike lanes, sidewalks, providing safer neighborhoods. I think the city can do better to engage the community and provide the necessities for the citizens in the community. I think when the city serve its citizens well and the citizens are happy, I think this community will thrive. A lot of businesses really look into a community before they invest in a community. They want to see if the city is livable, if the citizens in the community are happy with the city, and when the citizens are happy in the community, that shows. And a lot of businesses want to move in because, their employees will be happy with the service of the community.
Well, and part of that is education. Make sure that you have good schools available to students. And that would probably be a real big issue in the minority communities, to make sure that like language instruction and things like that are being developed for minority students. And I haven't studied that issue here in Salem as much as I have where I lived previously. So what is your opinion of the schools here in Salem as far as the minority community is concerned?
Well, the majority of the minority lives in the Northeast District, and a lot of them goes to McKay High School and North Salem High School, and some in McNary, but the majority are at McKay and North Salem. And what I think needs to do is we need to kind of explore the idea of offering not just the Spanish language, but we can offer another language in the school district that would enhance people's knowledge of another culture. Right now, Apano, a nonprofit organization up in Portland that I'm a part with, they work with the Portland School District, and they are implementing a pilot program of teaching Vietnamese language at one of the public schools. And I think that's something that the city of Salem and the school district can explore and can also experiment.
Well, that would be interesting, because I know both my grandparents on my mother's side were immigrants, and they had no help. And like my grandfather spoke Italian, and so he was able to learn enough English to get a decent paying job and like that. But it was also, the culture was lost because it was looked down upon, at least in those days, that they didn't want you talking about your Italian or your Irish heritage and like that. They wanted you to become an American and kind of forget that culture. But I mean, there's a problem, I think, when you don't have that connection. I know that a lot of people complain about hyphenated Americans, but that's part of what makes America America. Mm-hmm. It's not just a geographical place. It's something that's built on democracy, that right. Everybody is invited into the melting pot, so to speak, right. So that everybody has a chance to reach their fullest potential. And that's what makes America, to me, great, is that you have that ability here. But you have to also recognize the various cultures that make it up. You can't just say it's this one and that's the way it's going to be. So
yeah, I think the most important thing is we really need to just allow people to really practice their heritage, whatever form it may be. And it's important to bring that into the city, bring that rich culture into the city. There's a lot of talented mind that we have here in the community that just feel like they're excluded. And we need to include all those people. I understand that right now we have a large population of Latinos, and the Latinos we have translators in school, but also we have some Russian-speaking immigrants that are in town, and at times when taking my daughter to school, I see that these Russian families couldn't communicate with their teachers and administrators. So that that
and because there's no translator.
There's no translator. So I mean, we need to really look at see what are the majority needs in the community, and use our resource wisely in that aspect.
And you know, one of the other situations that I kind of came across this last winter was the homeless situation. And I don't know what the situation is in the Northeast, but I know downtown there's a fairly large population of homeless people that just isn't really, you know, they lost a lot of their shelter space, especially for families over this last winter. Plus, we have had extremely brutal cold periods
Right.
during this winter. And to me, it's kind of an issue that, you know, I know the city kind of would like to do something about it, but it's, you know, a little bit out of their means right now. But to me, you know, this kind of ties back to this third bridge issue.
Right.
Why do you want to spend $400 or $600 million on a bridge that doesn't make financial sense, at least at the present time, when you've got all these other issues to deal with?
Right. And I think the homeless, we really need to look at the legitimate see of the people that are homeless. There are people that choose to live at that as a lifestyle, and those it doesn't matter how much resource we spent to help this individual, they won't come out of the shells per se. But there's people that actually went through a hard time because of the economy and they lost everything. Those are the individuals that we need to focus our resource and energy on, trying to help them get back up on their feet. I think that the city needs to really invest in the necessity of humanity. By that I mean offer toiletry for downtown. We can't have these people, just.
Well, there's no facilities for them.
There's no facility, so
Right.
they would have to use facilities somewhere. So it would be on a street corner, on a business lot, and that's unsanitary. It costs business money to clean that up. And so if we can just install a porta potty somewhere where it's very well lit, so it won't be we won't have any issues. I think that's a very wise way to
Okay.
look at it.
Well, I mean, we have like about a minute left. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to see us cover during this last minute?
Yes, I would like to let the citizens in my the residents in my ward and the city know that I'm running for city council, not because I want to. I want to push an agenda, or I have some preconceived agenda that I need to push. I'm running for city council because I care about the city. I've been a resident here for over 26 years. I love this city. I've raised four kids here in this city, and I like for them to come back and stay in this city. I like to be able to retire in this city. So I wanted to improve the environment and the infrastructure of this city. That's why I want to get involved in city government.
Well, thank you, Sue, for coming down and joining us.
Well, thank you so much,
And
Ken. Thank
good
you
luck
for
on
having
your
me.
campaign.
Yes, thank you.
And come back next time. We'll have a special edition of the Valley View.